straight into Nuke. Definitely a map that Mouse have proven they can be very good on in the last few months. There's clearly a reason they picked it. They're confident they can take it. And you can see the 1x bet odds on your screen favoring mousesports early in this series.
The Mass running with Frozen towards Hell. Quickly smoke is up and starts to try and wrap Heaven. Immediately Alicia's down on that lower bomb site. Quite a few Mouse players pressuring down there already with a bomb. Acor with it on his back, and they're going to start wrapping around Heaven. mousesports with a good bit of control early in the pistol.
BMAS all the way around in Heaven. Liquid realized they had to take some map control of their own. They've pushed into Hut, and they have a player pushing through ramp. So they trade sides here, they take the lobby control, but these can still be some awkward fights at times for the CTs. You never know when you could get flanked at lobby.
And here comes mousesports from Heaven. BMAS and Frozen starting to get the play going. The rest of the squad coming through mid. 3 players now out of there. Like you said, Team Liquid take control of this Hut back. Bomb starts to be planted. mousesports locking it in. Team Liquid now getting the first kill. It's Fallen that's been able to pick it up. In-game leaders blow for blow, and Dexter's still alive, still kicking, and kills come in for Dexter. Huge 3K from him. BMAS doing work as well from the back of the bomb site, and it's all on Naf. 1 versus 2 needed for him. USP in hand, he's found the first headshot, and now it's just Frozen. Stuck up in Heaven, good position for it. Naf now spots out his opponent, and Frozen spots that Naf is no longer sticking the defuse, but finally he will. Pulls him off it again, and Frozen just playing with Naf right now, keeping him off that bomb. Naf again tapping, trying to pull Frozen into the open, and finally a headshot is through. It's going to be mousesports with a pistol win, and down to the 1v1, but it is the win for Frozen.
No kit picked up in that round for Liquid. They went with the full Kevlar, so once the bomb gets planted, they're in a really hard spot. Dexter doing good work early, though. He's a player who has been exceeding a lot of people's expectations in the online games. He's been fragging really well on this mousesports team against the top teams in the world. And Frozen at the end there, being nice and composed. And that is one of the issues when you lose that yard control early. That post-plant position from Heaven is so powerful, especially when the bomb's planted open like that. Frozen can go ahead and play with the time and win mousesports their first round.
Oh, Fallen trying to land shots through the smoke, but Alicia's come over to Secret, and this might just work out for a kill for Alicia, and he's under a good bit of pressure now, spotted, no kill, and tucks in the corner, but Dexter's found him. And advantage picked up from mousesports, now pressure down into the B-bomb site. 1 rotated player, and that is going to be Naf. Often you'll see these rotations. The best player on Team Liquid at this ramp area has so much impact on Nuke, he's just incredible.
It's got Fallen alongside him with the scout. But the UMP at range is not ideal. Fallen having a little look. Oh, and he hits the headshot.
Great headshot to start things off, but Frozen's found the reply quickly, and Naf's position does not allow for those easy fights to come in. He's caught between 2 angles, and because of that, he'll eventually go down, and just Stewie 2K left alone. And to win the round, he would need a 3K. He's at decon door. They're slowing the play down here, mousesports. They don't want to give anything away. They can't afford to. Frozen gets in towards the corner at blue box, and Stewie not giving away anything, waiting for a mistake, waiting for a mousesports player to figure out where he is, to walk into the trap of the CZ. But right now that's not looking to happen. mousesports just holding down the site, taking their time. BMAS eventually journeys out to the middle of the bomb site, and Stewie 2K is just waiting for that. Waiting for the tap. He swings open the decon door, but they're planting on the safe side of Silo. And eventually they realize where Stewie is. He hasn't really got much of a chance here, but he does have something to save. You know, he's got that helmet, Kevlar, CZ, some utility as well. He's searching for a kill. He wants to upgrade to a rifle. And at least bring down a player of mousesports. He's not really been given that opportunity just yet. Spots a Mac 10. That's a better gun. Now starts to slip away from the B site. It's going to be mousesports 2-0 start, though, in this elimination match.
Good start for mousesports. Stewie swings open the door for a second. Oh, nothing doing on that angle. It's Rops coming in from behind, who actually gets taken down by Stewie's jumping Mac 10. So he'll upgrade to the Galil. Pistol in his back pocket to drop to a teammate, but it is the strong start for mousesports. And as you were saying earlier there, Dinko, definitely a map where I'd be watching out for Naf on Liquid. This is one of the 2 maps where Naf has a higher rating than Elige in the last few months. So he's actually been their best player as of late on Nuke. And it is so valuable having a really good ramp player like that who can rotate away and have a lot of impact. He's very reliable, has a lot of cool ways he plays it. Sometimes even with the AWP, he'll stand just on top of the box. He was one of the players that really introduced that into the meta. So excited to see if Naf can have another great performance here on Nuke, one of his best maps. For now, though, it is all mousesports early in this one.
We touched on ropz and his ability to do unspeakable things on this map. We've seen some of the best highlight plays in the tournament from him. Just out and towards this A bomb site, we know what he can do, and he's got the Galil in hand, but above him right now is Grim on the dual Berettas and Fallen relatively close by as well on the P250. So the Pistols have a good setup to deal with ropz if he decides to walk out towards that A bomb site. But in the meantime, mousesports are taking this outside control. Really slow, and Stewie is going to shoulder peek and get some information onto A-Core, but they've already taken Garage, and because of that, Dexter trying to get the fight, hasn't been able to win it, so no kill yet, and we're 44 seconds left on this timer. This could work out in Liquid's favor. The Pistols love a bit of chaos, and the kills finally start to come through, but they're all for mousesports. Every single kill for the T side, and now just Naf left alone.
ropz getting a couple of kills on the board. As you pointed out, great map for him. It is statistically his best map in the last 6 months. Definitely part of the reason why mousesports went for this pick. Just be sitting on the other side, nothing doing there. ropz with a clean kill, and we will now get into the gun rounds. Another talking point on Nuke has been Fallen for Team Liquid. There was a long period where he really wouldn't play this map. We weren't sure how he'd adapt. He's been pretty good so far, considering how little he's played it previously. Definitely be keeping an eye on if his AWP can have impact, because it's so important to have that AWP on Nuke's CT side to stop some of those yard plays, to help get early kills. Let's see what Fallen can do with it.
Yeah, it's going to be essential to the defensive Team Liquid. And Fallen looking towards outside. Did spot one player, actually lands the shot as well, because Frozen is down to 57. No kill though, and that allows the T's to stay at this 5 number as they go past the outside smoke. Execute, they'll take control of Garage. Do they go straight down into Secret? A-Core, he's going to be the man doing it with the rifle. The rest of his teammates are there with him, and Alicia's rotated down preemptively. There is a smoke down to slow and maybe dissuade them from coming down into his crosshair, but Alicia's going to have none of it. We often see players tuck back in that corner to try and go for the headshot, but instead Alicia goes onto the stairway. They're not throwing utility. He gets info, but now he's got to get away. And he opens up the double door, swings into the site, and now the attack from mousesports begins to start. Just 1 minute left, though. Alicia up here has got Naf, who's dropped down from the bottom of the ramp to now help on the B site hold. These are 2 players that could certainly crush this attack from mousesports.
That's a terrifying crossfire to run into. Alicia still has to be concerned of a lot of different angles, though.
Oh, and he's going to go forward. It's Naf that finds the first in Alicia. Spotted 2, comes away with 1, and now goes back to decon, but Frozen ready for the repeak. 3v4 though, low HP on a couple of players from mousesports. It's not the ideal situation for the T side, especially because they haven't dealt with Naf inside of the site. They have to go again, and they're just falling to pieces. ropz and Bimas have to pull off an unbelievable 2v4, and that just isn't likely to happen. Team Liquid with so much control inside of the site. 20 seconds, remember, so this ropz flank doesn't really amount to much. It can't, and Fallen is even aware of that possibility. So if there was to be a play to happen, it would need to come from Bimas and ropz simultaneously, and they don't really look like they're really inspired about going for this one. When the time, it limits them, and the round is done.
That's the AWP dropped, though. Maybe mousesports could even steal that away at the end of the round. There's no way Liquid are going to get it. And ropz doesn't go for it, doesn't take that risk. He'd rather make sure he saves so that the money is fine for mousesports. Still has to be the reinvestment, and actually, Liquid can't afford that AWP. So
yeah,
we'll go down to the rifles now.
Yeah, huge kill from ropz, and that's why you stick around, you see what you can get. Every kill matters, and especially when you take that AWP out of the hands of Liquid, they're going to have to play the recovery game to catch up with the money.
And just touching back on that previous round quickly, one of Liquid's biggest strengths on this map, in my opinion, is the way they play that B site. Look at how they get proactive. Yeah. Before the push comes in, they know they can't just let it come to them.
Speaking of proactive, look at this. Fallen just straight through the garage smoke, down into towards top secret. Are they going to expect him to be so close? Here they come, quickly into Fallen. He's walked away with 1. Probably should have got 2 there, but he goes down quite quickly. And now the play into the lower site begins from mousesports. They're running, they're going quickly, and Elise is trying to cause a few problems for the AWP of A-Core.
This time it is only Naf down on the rotate. No Elige to help him, but we've praised his ability to play this position before. Acor watching for it, but Naf's got the flash at the ready. Acor forced off the angle.
And look at the decon play as well from mousesports. They're taking control of the B site while this distraction is up. And they've even got Rops cutting off those rotations. And goodbye, Elige. Rops shuts him down, and Naf has no support. He is alone here in this B bomb site and will continue to be alone. But Mouse, they're so slow in this one. They're going up the ladder with a bomb, and Grim is ready. He's taking a double kill, and the bomb's down. Grim with a 3K. It's looking grim for Mouse. A play into the B site probably would have worked, but they decide to go back up to A, and right to their demise, they go down to Grim with a FAMAS. It's all onto Rops now in a 1v3.
And with 35 seconds and that bomb up the ladder, Rops is really hoping he gets gifted a free fight, but Liquid are keeping themselves compact, all towards that bomb. Don't think Rops will be going for this at this point. And how about Grim's performance so far at this event? He was their one shining light against NIP. He was a huge reason why they could win that overpass against the NIP roster. He dropped 35 frags in that overtime game. It's been really cool seeing Grim, as the least experienced player on Liquid, come through and play really solid so far. That's not an easy position to stick around and line up those kills in.
In a way, the online era for some of these younger players that are coming up is a blessing in disguise, right? Because, okay, you don't get to play at all the big events, you don't get to play at all the big lands, but what you do get is a situation where you have time to be taught all of these aspects in a less pressured environment, right? And I heard Elige talking a lot about how Stewie will sit down and teach Grim how to play at this level, and he's been doing a lot of that, and Grim has elevated even further than his raw potential he had at the beginning, and he's transferred it over to land, so this is really good stuff from Grim.
I also like the switch up that Liquid had in that previous round, realizing Fallen has the rifle, so it's a good round for him to play that aggressive secret play instead of with the AWP. Now he's got the AWP, he's switched up his position slightly, but already 2 early kills for Liquid.
And that's huge from Stewie because he obviously understands there's a tendency for Rops to try and get out to that vent. He loves to get into that position because it really is one of the only angles you can get in towards the inside of Nuke, where you can start forcing fights early as a T. And Rops loves to get that deep smoke out to the vent and try and take those fights onto top hut. And Stewie's aware of that, takes him down, and then spams through the smoke for the second kill. So, 2-man advantage for Liquid. mousesports given a really difficult round right off the bat, and they're going to try and challenge the AWP.
That's a tough plan B. You'd normally expect Naf to be here, but Fallen switched it up in this round, so the dry peek goes straight into the AWP instead of the rifle that Naf would have had. A nice switch up from Liquid to catch them off guard. Nice shot from BMAS, but he's taken some damage from Fallen, who hits him with the headshot.
Great stuff from Fallen, very comfortable, very confident, you know, just stands around, doesn't drop back, doesn't take a covered position. Happy enough to switch out to the USP, and we're 3-3. Team Liquid tie it up. And great early signs from Stewie 2K individually as well. I mean, he's had a good few moments now. I think Fallen's looking good as well in a lot of important situations. And the exciting part is Fallen's going to be over the map, at least for the first couple of rounds. We've seen that be a tendency. So we're going to see a dynamic CT side coming in for Team Liquid.
Slightly tough start for mousesports, though. They tried to run that play towards the lower site earlier in the half. Liquid countered them really well, but then in this round, they don't really get to run their play from the get-go because of those early kills against them. Elige playing impressive alongside Fallen, but they're sneaking up on him. Oh, they didn't spot Dexter.
Fallen luckily gets away with a reply kill, but yeah, Elige not getting away with that one. Aggression against the lower tier weapons sometimes can cost you, and Grim holding it towards the A bomb site does very well. Fallen's got outside and lockdown. He's even got help, but as soon as I say that, BMAS with a headshot right through the eyes of Fallen. And a 3v2 now. mousesports with a chance for more damage because BMAS's Deagle still hanging around towards Yard, but look at that. Confident swing out from Naf. Switches to the AWP as well. And Acor, he's only got a Glock. He's saving for that AWP himself. He wants to get that out on the T side. He's yet to get involved. 0 kills on the board right now. We want to see more out of Acor, especially if Fallen's going to be playing well. Acor's been a bit here and there right now from mousesports. So if he can start to step up his performance, that would be great to see. But in this round, it falls to his demise. Stewie 2K waiting for the drop down.
It has been a tough start for Acor because he hasn't really got that AWP out, and I think the round he did have the AWP was the one where they lose the 2 early players.
Yeah, through the smoke.
So they just at that point aren't in a position where they get to run their proper round. Here is an early timeout taken by mousesports though. After getting off to a good start, these gun rounds have instantly turned the game back in Liquid's favor. So I like the early call for the pause. Making sure they can tighten the ship.
And for Team Liquid, their CT side has been super fun to watch because it's been so lively. It's constantly changing. It's hard to call against that if you don't know if there's outside aggression, if these early rotations are coming down into B, suddenly the ops on ramp, but it's been NAF the whole time. It's hard to really think about how to counter the CT side, and maybe mousesports just got to play more proactive than reactive.
I would expect to see mousesports start to go for some yard plays now, and oftentimes they really love leaving Rops on that lurk and seeing what he can do towards ramp. The problem with that is Naf is on the other side, so that could be a really important individual matchup here. Rops versus Naf towards ramp could be so important to see how the map gets opened up, who can win out in that duel, if it even comes through.
Yeah, there's lots of exciting matchups, individually speaking, throughout the game. You know, we've got an exciting matchup here overall, mousesports versus Team Liquid in an elimination game at IEM Cologne, but individually speaking, we've got lots of exciting ones to look at. Fallen versus Acor, Naf versus Robs, and now Fallen gets a good start. It's frozen down, and a man advantage for Team Liquid. This is, again, a difficult start to the round for Dexter, but what can the big-brained Australian come up with?
With how late you see Frozen towards yard there behind the smokes, I think Liquid are likely to know that it's probably not the play through yard, but it is going to be the play into the A-bomb site.
Yeah, revenge from Acor, smoke kill on a Stewie 2K, and now Grim is tested again. He's passed every test with flying colors, and once again, it's time to shine. He's doing really well. He's even got a Liege here to back him up. Grim is just confident. You can rely upon Grim just to hold down that bomb site, and that's something that not a lot of teams can rely upon their younger players. It's a great luxury to have for Liquid.
Nice play from Fallen early too, seeing up over those smokes, getting the early kill onto Frozen, and then you realize they would have gone sooner if there were more players going secret. So Liquid are much more prepared on the A site. You even see Naf is ready to flank through ramp because they're so sure it is going to be that A play and not that lower sided play because Fallen saw so much towards yard. So another really nice round from Liquid. They are looking super solid right now at the start of Nuke.
Oh. Collateral from Fallen, but no kill. Just a lot of damage onto Bimas and Acor. Not a bad start for Team Liquid. And Elige might start getting those kills as well to start off the round. He's going to be looking for a couple of these picks up on top. He gets shredded up very quickly by Frozen. Not an easy shot to land with that Deagle up on top of Silo. It's delivered the reply kill, so 4v4. Do want to get Acor down there as well, and Frozen's diving into main. There was a player at CT vent that would have heard those footsteps, but Frozen's going to change up his position. It's Dexter down with the bomb versus Naf, and the bomb has been found. It's alone as well. The spacing kind of off there between Acor and Dexter. AK at least picked up, and now Acor has recovered the bomb as well, but Naf is hunting him down. He's about to find the kill, but Acor, the Dane has hit the headshot. Also, his teammates getting kills as well, and once again, Grim is needed, but Acor landing some blistering headshots now. It's just Fallen. AWP in the clutch. 1 versus 2, a round that mousesports should have no say in winning.
Oh no, the bomb's coming down alone. Acor has to win this fight.
Oh, he's gone to the P250 though, and because of that, the AK wins out the duel. Team Liquid, they lose a round they shouldn't, and mousesports, it's a miracle round. It's a must needed, and now an opportunity to get back to winning ways.
mousesports can do that to you though. A lot of talented players on this roster. Frozen and BMAS, great aimers. See that come through. Acor, the man to really make the difference though. Always good to see your AWP having a good round with the rifle. It's important nowadays that you can do that because you aren't always going to have that economy for the AWP. So good to see Acor having a bit of impact. The important thing for me here on the Liquid side is that they don't let that round completely snowball them and make them start to lose confidence. Because up until this point, Liquid's game plan has been great. I've liked the way they fought towards yard because mousesports are at their best on their T side of Nuke when they can get some yard control, they can put some pressure on that area of the map, and then Rops can start lurking through ramp. That's where Rops is really good because he gets the timings right almost every time. The problem is Rops hasn't had the chance to fight ramp because oftentimes they're not getting that control elsewhere, and so there aren't any rotations that Rops can take advantage of. There's only really been one round where he got a kill in towards ramp in that aggressive position. So I've really liked what Liquid have done so far, and I hope that round doesn't make them lose their confidence. They should just be able to stick to that game plan.
Well, right now we're going to have a little bit of a break until we get this sorted. There's a bit of a PC crash right now for one of the players. Hopefully that won't take too long and we can get back into the action. I mean, so far so good for Team Liquid in terms of the CT approach. For mousesports, I'm interested to see what next level they have on Nuke, because when they first came into the play-in, we praised how strong they looked in their opening game, but it was a very simple style of Counter-Strike being used up, right? A lot of straight-up executes towards outside, 4 players going down, leaving Robs on the late lurks. And
Rosen's loving it.
yeah, I want this massage. This is looking insane. I think these coaches are just glorified masseuse right now. This is unbelievable. Yeah, he's giving that a good rating. Not bad at all. Dexter looks like he has good posture. I think he's fine. Yeah. He's a dad after all.
Exactly. Dexter trying to stay with his head in the game right now.
I mean, it's going to be a big test for him so far. In terms of how Team Liquid are changing this up, obviously this is probably the biggest opportunity Dexter has ever had to get deep in a tournament of this scale, right? You've got a great team around you. You're finally being flown out to Europe. You're going to be in-game leading a roster with this much talent, and now you're in an elimination game. This means so much for Dexter to be able to take down Liquid, so he's got to stay in the mainframe right now. He's got to try and figure out what's the next move from Liquid. You got to try and predict how you're going to move against that. And I think it's real interesting to see how things have played out so far. It's a good round for Mouse to win. Unfortunately, the momentum and the hype from that has been somewhat stifled by this tech pause, but hopefully they can just reset, come back into it. And this manager screen, Grim, I mean, everybody's been impressed by him so far. I think everybody's been impressed by him coming into Liquid anyway, but it's more so his performance here at Cologne that's just been beautiful to watch. A player of this little experience being able to take it on to land straight away and show up and do the same stuff he's doing online without much of a difference is really impressive to see from Grim.
Especially because from what I've heard from a lot of the NA experts, he's had to switch up quite a few spots when coming into this team.
Yeah.
He's obviously not in a position where he can call for all the spots he wants. No. So he's having to play a lot of those hard roles and doing so really well so far in this tournament. So have to give him a lot of props. I really am impressed with this Liquid game plan, though. I feel like Adren has done a lot of preparation here early on Nuke. He's given them a good game plan to start it off. And this is where we get to see, can Dexter adapt mid-game? Can he start to figure out how to counter what Liquid are doing? Because Liquid have come into this game knowing what to do. Now mousesports have to find an answer on the fly.
And that's sometimes what Team Liquid finds difficulty in dealing with, right? When you've got to go for these timeouts, when you've got to try and find the answers within the game, it's sometimes where Liquid can fall short. So we've got to see them be able to pull it off, keep this game plan going, and it's on to mousesports. Now Dexter needs to find the answers. They've just had a miracle round with pistols coming out for a win, and now they're going to try and replicate that.
Acor hasn't bought Kevlar, and he's got $6,550 in the bank.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mistake right there for sure from the Dane, but maybe he's just saving money. Maybe he's just so confident right now. Falling towards outside, holding for the early pick. There are smokes here for mousesports. There's quite a lot of presence over here. Again, this is that standard round that we're going for in their opening game of the play-in.
Nice flash, just as the smoke was blooming, but Elige is ready.
He's going to be a big problem for them. He's again peeking up from the top of Secret. He's found Frozen, and I'll be looking for a little bit more. Already crossed in, he didn't spot Bimas. He didn't see him come through. And Bimas is going to find Elige's head, and that's going to turn it into the 4v4, straight down into Secret. That's incredibly important to get that kill, because Elige looks primed and ready. He's gone there so many times to try and deal with these outside plays in mousesports. He's come out with one, but that's not going to be enough to make Team Liquid feel comfortable.
This is where we get that NAF rotation down to B, though. Rops has chances to lurk here, but it's Acor who lands the shot against Fallen.
That's a great kill to find. We talk about how Acor needs to challenge Fallen, and now some counter-aggression needs to come through. They need to take map control back, and Team Liquid have done that. Grim's come through into lobby, and that lit lurk onto Rops has been found. It's a big player to take out of the round here. And now mousesports got to try and figure out what is the call, what do we have left, and Dexter's going to go up in towards Heaven, and Acor's following in behind him.
And they know Liquid have pushed into lobby, so there's a decent chance Liquid will be aware of this and will be watching for this.
Yeah, this is that tit for tat, map control being sent both ways, and Stewie 2K's inside of the site though. On the other side is Silo. Bimas tries to commit to mid. Dexter's already down, and Stewie's come out with a double. Finally, Acor's going to spot him, but not enough. And Stewie 2K, what a round from him. 3 kills, just takes down every single remaining player, and it's the position that catches them off guard.
And look at the difference the lobby aggression makes. That kill from Grim gives them the ability to play a position they would never normally play on an A hold. Stewie on that other side of the silo can focus on main initially. As soon as he sees he gets this first player from the split, then he can go ahead and focus on that heaven flank because he's heard the molly being thrown. He knows they're coming in from above. Really important kill from Grim to get them into that position, but mousesports still have a buy.
Once you get all the info so early for Team Liquid, it's easy to set up around what is the most likely call. And now they're looking quite comfortable. mousesports have got to make this one work. Investment strong for them. 2 MAC-10s, 2 AK-47. That's everything they've got on the line now. They've got to make it work. Stewie 2K has made the rotation down into vent early, and the smoke is going to slow and take the sting out of the attack of mousesports. They've got to come back and leave that.
Well, at least Akor's got Kevlar this time, Dinko. That's one improvement in the buy.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Let's see if it makes the difference.
He did get a kill last round onto Fallen, out-AWPing him at one point, and they may go for the boost around the corner here to see if they can catch Stewie out, or maybe just the molly to force him away.
Yeah, we've been seeing some players playing that close right corner when this Molotov comes in, but Stewie was not in the position to be able to do that, so he's trying to drop back. And Rops, this might be his round for the timing, but Stewie 2K still alive, still holding it, gets away with a double kill. So much work being done by Stewie, and they know. They absolutely know. Rops loves to go for those late lurks, and Fallen's just waiting for it. Team Liquid are reading mousesports like a book right now.
This is what they brought Adren back for. I'm sure he's had a lot to say in how to play on this CT side. It's been working wonders so far. And now with under 30 seconds remaining, this is almost impossible for mousesports.
It's not looking good for them. Dex has got to make a big play. Going into this B-bomb site is never easy, especially when you have that AWP rotated down, Naf up in the rafters. So many positions you've got to worry about. That's the first test that they fail on. It's Fallen coming in, and Naf was ready for the second. Dexter burns away the AWP, actually, of Fallen, so that is another reinvestment, and well, they can't really afford... Well, Grim can pick up the AWP. Just going to have to throw that over to Fallen, but this is huge. They keep taking the AWP out.
I almost feel like Liquid purposely made the noise there of Naf rotating down to B to bait Rops into thinking he could get that lurk play, because you just see Fallen holding that angle the entire time. Had a really good idea that Rops was coming. Very impressive start here from Team Liquid on mousesports map pick.
And if Mouse are going to play the same playstyle, it's going to be easy for Team Liquid's game plan to pick them apart, to bait them into these opportunities. It's really good on the CT side. mousesports looking to try and recover. They've had a round like this before, right? They've already in this series, they've won one with the Deagles. A little bit of magic out of Akor. Might just start something off here. Dexter's down early. Team Liquid giving them yard control. This is the difference, though. In the last Deagle round, Elise had pushed up towards outside. This time, they're not giving them any of these fights, not giving them any of the opportunities. And they even have Fallen just holding back from CT spawn. So a much better setup to deal with this kind of round. It should be Team Liquid taking it, but for mousesports, it's a great opportunity to try and take some of that cash away, because a lot of the rounds have been close in terms of player count. They've been losing players for Liquid. You can make some damage to the economy, and Elise's timing, he's just looked away from top man. He's going to get taken down by Frozen. He nearly gets away with a kill, but another one from Frozen. That's Stewie 2K down, and now an opportunity once again for mousesports. Can they do it again? Akor through the smoke, and it's all crumbling here for Team Liquid. Akor's looking for another, but finally Grim strikes into action. But it's all Grim now. 1v3. He's got to figure out how to get back down to that lower site if he wants to win the round. And because he's taking damage, it has to be the save call.
A couple of good timings, good team play from mousesports there towards Yard, just to catch some of those Liquid players out. Frozen from above, able to get that early kill onto Elise, who is normally so aware of those potential plays. This time, he's unable to be ready for that player from above. mousesports doing a good job at making sure Frozen was set up for that early success. And yet again, it's mousesports winning with one of these weaker buys. The gun rounds have not been successful at all for mousesports so far. They haven't actually won a full gun round, I don't think, because they won the pistol, got off to that good start, and then they won a couple of rounds like this, where it was just with the Deags, but a couple of nice tricks gets them over the line.
It's enough at the moment, right? Because it's keeping them within touching distance of that scoreline. So even if they roll into only a few gun rounds in this half, they can make a meal out of the T side. And that's that timing. I mean, Elise was in a good position, was passive in towards main, but decided to want to go out for a fight. And because of that, it opens up the opportunity for the kills from Frozen to come in. And a timeout for Mouse comes through. They want to focus in on this gun round. They know, okay, we've had 2 of these opportunities now. The last time, we weren't able to replicate it into another round win. And so they have to do it here. And up against Team Liquid, their current economic situation has left them looking pretty dire.
They're saving one here. 4 of them have the money that a $1,900 loss bonus will get them a goodbye into the next round. Stewie will likely have to take a weaker weapon if they lose this one. That's not the end of the world. So mousesports able to come through and potentially get a 6th round on the board. This will be a solid comeback if they can just get 7 or 8 rounds at the half. That would be pretty impressive for mousesports, considering it felt like Liquid was starting to pull away.
Grim. He knows he has to be the player here to step up for Liquid. He's going for some ramp progression. Taking it off angle, getting flashed in. He knows he has to be the player to do it. He hasn't seen anything from it. mousesports going heavy towards outside once again. In fact, everybody's over here, apart from Robs, who is often in lobby alone. He'll be joined by Dexter shortly, so no more Mr. Lonely for Mr. Cool. Ooh. Might be too much for a party, though. Naf looks to try and spoil the arrangement. He's in towards HUD. He's pushed all the way through. Deagle in a decent spot to try and take out a player, but with 2 in here for mousesports, they don't really look to give him those opportunities. They're aware of this possibility. The rest of the squad now taking outside control, and finally Robs will check below him. Naf goes out of play, and now Stewie looking to swiftly upgrade that USP to the Deagle. He'll do that. He'll get away. Just a couple of spam shots coming through from mousesports to prevent the fallback, but it's not really going to stop Stewie from getting back safely to the site. 40 seconds now for mousesports.
Running that clock low, but they should still be in a fairly comfortable position unless they can bait to allow Grim a couple of kills on some unsuspecting players.
And he's been great so far from the back of the bomb site. He's going to need another one of these rounds. See if he can pull it off. Rob's starting to come through. Grim was 1. His teammates are going down, but Stewie's found 1 kill on the Deagle, and the flash is so good. Grim's got another one. 1v2, but the nade comes in. He took damage, and his hero play denied. It's going to be mousesports with 6.
Nice try from Grim, especially because with that flash he throws, if his teammates survive 1 or 2 seconds longer, he can actually swing and get that kill, maybe keep his teammate alive and put them in a position where the round is much more winnable. But unfortunately, the timing works out that he just can't quite peak as his teammates are fighting. It is a shame, but it's still a pretty solid round from Grim. They keep mousesports' money somewhat weaker than it would have otherwise been. And now the buy comes through for Liquid with a glass cannon AWP in the hands of Fallen.
Definitely feeling like this is an important investment for Liquid. They keep trying to get this AWP out. Fallen's going to be over towards Secret. This seems to be a big part of the game plan, to try and disrupt some of these outside plays from mousesports. Liege has often been here, and now Fallen. What a great read of that position. Dexter down again. Dexter's not had fun in a lot of these opening duels. He's often the victim. And mousesports down a player really well down there from Fallen.
Brilliant shot. Dexter had almost no chance to respond. And that is a risk when you don't have the Kevlar. Sometimes teams will molly off that position. Sometimes they'll chuck nades into Secret. But Fallen was confident to take the fight for good reason. mousesports have still got the yard control, but Liege is in a really annoying position to clear.
Yeah, this cover of the box right in front of him just makes it so easy to turn it into 1v1 fights, and that's exactly what he's going to try and do, but he can't get away with Frozen. He was a little lower down, so just his head showing up, and too difficult to get the crosshair down quickly enough. 4 versus 3, man advantage still with Team Liquid. Rops is somewhat being neutralized, neutered, I think, in some of these lurks. This would be a great round for him to make the difference. He might not need to, because Acor's found a really important kill, and once again, Grim looking for some of that HUD control. Once they lose this ground towards outside, they like to try and take this HUD control back and into his lobby, and Rops is going to be aware of that. Frozen finding kills. Rops spots 1 in towards Vent. He's going to take the headshot, and mousesports close it out.
Really patient from mousesports, using a lot of the clock there. But they are able to get into a position where they can win those fights. like you pointed out, the Hut aggression comes in, but this time Stewie is playing on that other side of the silo, so he is given that fight from heaven. And unfortunately, as soon as you lose that initial duel, now they're likely going to know you have pushed into lobby. They can be ready for those plays. And Acor getting that kill onto Fallen also made a big difference, just to make sure they knew that AWP wasn't coming up for any sort of flank.
Acor is making a lot of differences right now, right? Because he had a really bad start, you have to remember. 0 kills, 5 deaths, and now he's up to 9-10. He's equalized with most of his teammates. Grim off to a great start, but Frozen spots out Fallen. Kills come through, but aggression into ramp this time from Naf has delivered the bomb, and a kill for Liquid, and a Liege on aggression towards outside. He's got an AK. 4v2, Liquid loving this one. A little bit of Liquid luck.
Mouse need to work to get that bomb back. That's the first aim right now. And then from there, they can figure out what the next goal is. Liquid will give them that bomb, but with 4 CTs alive, even if some of them still have those weaker weapons, the crossfires could be too much for Mouse to handle.
Naf holding.
This is their chance.
MP9 trying to tap him. He's going to drop down. Once Naf gets into this position, he could be anywhere, right? He could be underneath the window, he could be in the cubby, he could be on this close corner on the right side. You really got to start thinking about all of these different positions. And Naf should get away with one here. He's often so good at it. It's a close angle, though. It's quite common to clear. And the barrel from Acor goes around, but it's Naf. He'll take 2. It's 7 at the half for Team Liquid. The North Americans lead the way going into the second. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back. Still coming into the second half, some utility in the pistol round for Team Liquid. It's Stewie and Naf, Rocky knows, and they're going quickly in towards ramp. Rops is going to be under pressure. He's going to force himself down into the lower bomb site, and the rest of the cavalry now running him down. Can Rops hold on? He's going to be under so much pressure. Fallen's found the headshot, and a man advantage now for Team Liquid. He's going to look for the bomb plant.
It's such a nice jump from Fallen. He hits his head, so he comes back down quickly. So hard to hit the headshot on him. And the trades continue on the B bomb site, but bomb will be planted on that safe side of the silo.
Yeah, man advantage for Liquid certainly helps matters in the post plant. Mouse have a lot of work to do. They've got to dig deep. Gonna try and find their way out of this one. Acor coming down ramp, player right in front of him, a difficult angle to clear, but he knows Naf's here now with a sound cue. Doesn't really matter though, because Stewie2K's found his teammate, and it's just as difficult as it was a few moments ago, even with that kill from mousesports. Tap onto the bomb, trying to pull them into the open. No one's on it though, and Frozen's getting headshots. Now looking back, Frozen's found another. Suddenly it's all Fallen, and the round is now falling down around him. He's looking for the headshots. Fallen goes for it, and a double kill to save the day. Liquid with the 3K on Fallen, and the pistol is much needed.
The experienced player calms it down for Liquid, because for a second there, it looked like it was going out of hand. It looked like it was getting out of control, but Fallen's there to be that reliable player to go ahead and guarantee the round win. And that should have been the round win after they get down to that lower site so successfully. They get that clean kill onto Rops. The rotates from Mouse were decent. They got there in time, but Liquid already had that full control of the site. So nice effort from Frozen, some really good shots from him, but it's not enough to win them the round.
Smoke execute towards outside begins to come through, and Team Liquid have a bit of a gap problem, don't they?
That's always ugly.
Yeah, Cowboy Builders setting up those smokes.
At least one man crossed, so they still have to be somewhat scared of the secret play.
Ooh, trying to duel out. It's going to be Acor, not too far away from a shot through that wall that I just call the simple wall from what he's been able to do with that in the past. Now a minute just over left on this clock, and Frozen's under pressure. They're going to try and run him down, and the MAC-10 does come out on top, and Dexter now trying to duel. This Eagle has a decent position. Now a minute left, or just under. Bomb starts to go down in towards secret. Team Liquid grouping up, going together. This is a full 5-man walk down into the secret position.
It's so nice they cleared out Garage there, because Acor's still scared of that Garage position. There's no way he can risk going for a flank down secret right now.
And ropz, he's already rotated down. A lone ranger, but often good enough in these situations. Issue is just a deagle, though. And Team Liquid have everybody coming down here. ropz has really got to deliver something special. Silenced in the first half. Now he looks to silence Liquid, and it's not going to happen. Fallen quickly comes through. The Professor with a kill. And Dexter's found one, but not enough here for mousesports to make it competitive. And it's probably best just saving the Kevlar we've got on Bimes. Got a smoke there as well. Acor can hang around. But for the most part, Liquid happy up to 10 rounds.
Yeah, there was that one missed smoke in there, but other than that, a really competent round from Liquid. Like I was saying, I love the way they clear out Garage and put that pressure onto that yard position, because mousesports then are starved for information. It's really hard for them to read where Liquid are going. They can't know that they need to rotate more players down to that lower side of the map. So you make it much less likely that you're running into a pistol stack. Because if you run into that B site and there are some Deegs playing some close positions, that round could become very scary. So well done by Liquid, just to make sure Mouse don't have enough information to properly stack a site.
The most impressive thing about the first half for Liquid was silencing the #1 star of mousesports. He's currently the bottom fragger, and we're of course talking about ropz. He didn't have the impact he was able to usually have on the T side, and that was really because of Team Liquid's game plan. And ropz hopefully can get involved in the CT side, but silencing ropz just takes the sting out of mousesports.
And this is statistically ropz's best map. He has a 1.27 rating on Nuke in the last 6 months. Very impressive to shut him down.
And now he's going to be tested again. He has got teammates here this time. No one. Dexter's got one in the P250. Another distraction, and ropz now has body shots right in front of him. Low HP players. The kills come into Stewie. Now Naf and Fallen, they cannot lose this round. They're down a player. Team Liquid, another one added to the tally if they lose this. These are rounds you cannot be losing consistently, and so mousesports might be given another opportunity. Off the back of the lower tier weapons, Naf tries to make his play, but Fallen's alone. That's the bomb in towards Hut. Oh, the timing for Bimes. Is he going to spot him? Fallen with a headshot, and now an opening into the site. He starts to run on down. Fallen's going to start planting that bomb, and the Molotov into heaven comes at the right time. I think they've secured the round again. ropz looks to the spoils of war, and he's found himself a Galil. He isn't going to pick it up because he's not aware that the ramp room is clear, and they wouldn't be able to hear that rifle, but he doesn't know that. And Fallen has come close in towards lobby, and ropz now with the deagle peers around the corner itself, and Fallen with a headshot, frozen left alone. Team Liquid recover the round. That was almost another nightmare.
Those ramp rushes are scary, man. On those rounds, you never know when the CTs are going to stack a few players there, and you have to try and flick to both sides. You're going to get whiplash as you flick up towards the boost and back towards the ramp. So good that Naf and Fallen were able to stay composed and close that one out. And those are two players that you're pretty happy to have in those positions.
I think you're happy with the wealth that you have on Team Liquid in terms of the players you can put anywhere at this point, and everybody seems to be hitting their numbers. I mean, Elise hasn't really even needed to be called upon because the rest of his teammates are doing so much. In fact, I think Elise was one of the players that was having a little bit of a tougher time in that first half, to be honest. He was getting caught out towards outside in some of those aggressive plays. Grim is holding down Hut, and right now Bimes has already pushed up into it. Elise, speaking of, continues the nightmare. He's down to 21, and they're not going to check it. Bimes with 1 second as well, and now the bomb's down. Really good stuff there from Bimes. And this is a great start to the round for Mouse. Now Team Liquid have got to dig deep again, and often the man with a shovel is Fallen that's come out with 1, but still not enough. They're still down a player.
That bomb is in a really weird position. They haven't got it, but they're going into ramp. They're trying to open it up, but here comes ropz, finally having some impact. A nice double kill on the hold, and Naf has no way in.
Yeah, I think he realized his round's done. Really well played there. Some aggressive stances, different change up in terms of forcing them back. Once you take that Hut area, it generally will force them back into that ramp crunch, trying to take pressure there, and you could see how ready ropz was. His angle of selection was just perfect. When you've got ropz on an AUG in the back of ramp, often it can deliver you some beautiful moments. And so for Team Liquid is save call for Naf, a round win for mousesports, and round 20 coming up.
Really nice position for Bimes too. Got to give him props for the position he played. It's also a good example of why throwing those flashes in through Hut can be quite hard at times. Normally teams would prefer to throw those flashes up over the top of the site, because if you're throwing the flash through hut, normally you are bouncing it off that wall. It kind of gives the game away a little bit sooner. So unfortunately for Liquid, BMAS can just sit there and know they're not going to be clearing me because they're throwing the flashes in towards the site. Grim goes around the corner actually playing anti-flash because he thought he could go ahead and look away and then start to get back towards the site.
And he even still got flashed by Stewie's flash. So not really getting anything out of that. No positives. But Rob still with his kills. An 11-8 for Team Liquid. Still in the lead, still with a buy, and mousesports realized the hard work's not done. It's only really beginning. And it is their map pick, as indicated by the top left graphic on your screen. You have to get a win here. Elimination on the line here at IEM Cologne. A lot for both of these teams. And to be honest, as a neutral, it's kind of upsetting to see both of these teams in the lower bracket, Holker.
It is. One of them has to go here today. Nice molly there from Mouse towards Yard. Acor has been watching that gap in the smoke, but it's the A play again.
Oh, crit flashes here from Team Liquid. Much better now. Flashes in. No one can even see who's coming to get them. It's a nightmare. It's a scary round, and mousesports happy to save. It's Rops bringing the AUG out of play. Every single one of his teammates just go down without seeing who's actually hunting them down. It's a horror story. It's like they're inside of a horror game suddenly.
And when I was looking at the flash stats, this was about a month ago, but Fallen was one of the best players with flashes in the world. It was him and Glaive that were up there at the top. He gets a lot of flash assists, gets a lot of effective flashes for his team. Quite often you can see that from AWPers, who will be sitting back and setting up the nades for their teammates because they don't want to be going in to those close quarters angles. But that round is slightly concerning for mousesports to me, because Acor, I believe the entire time, was watching that gap in the Yard smokes and knew that they weren't going down secret. They weren't going through Yard. So those A players should have known there's a decent chance this will be an A pop, and they still showed no resistance on that site. Obviously some brilliant flashes from Liquid, but you've got to be ready to deal with those flashes.
Mousesports are going to go for the buy again. They've invested everything into this one. 2 for Mass and Play, and M4 for Dexter. 2 AUGs out on Ropes and Frozen. They've got to get this win, otherwise Liquid are going to be steamrolling their way to a very convincing scoreline. Stewie 2K with a quick start to this round. He's dropped down into mid already. He's looking for some openings. They have to be ready for this. The play into the A side so quick, and Stewie's found the opening. Finally Frozen stepping back, but Naf is here as well, and he's got a double. Really good stuff from Naf, and he doesn't stop. Another one from him, and Acor's alone. He's found one, but it's not going to be enough when Naf, the Destroyer, has turned up to the A-bomb site. There's nothing you can do.
Nasty ass Naf, back at it again. My American accent isn't great. I apologize to all the Liquid fans out there.
It's not.
But what a round from Naf. Beautifully done, and I think we are seeing what Liquid's plan is now for the T side. They are abusing that A-bomb site. Another round with a fast A play. Didn't look like Mouse had a setup initially towards the site. They had players jumping towards hut as Stewie was starting to come in from that Yard play. They weren't that well established onto the site as the push was coming in. Liquid make them pay, and they still needed Naf to be that impact player, but he delivers oftentimes in those late round scenarios. That's exactly where he wants to be.
And we need a timeout here from mousesports. They look flustered. You just said it at the start of the round, right? Coming into it, they didn't really look like they were 100% sure as to where they're going to go, where they're going to play from. Because of that, that's where Team Liquid can just go for these quick, decisive rounds and punish that indecisiveness, that lack of structure, the lack of cohesion between the team. And if there's a player to do that, it would be Stewie on those entries. He's done very well, and in behind him, Naf, crushing them. Mousesports, they're going for a little half investment here, pulling out the Deagles, CZs. We've seen them win with these, so Liquid need to be careful.
So far, this has been a brilliant performance from Team Liquid. And it's largely come from outmaneuvering Mouse in a lot of these rounds. The individuals have been good, but Rops gets involved early this time. 2 kills with the D body shots, but Liquid bounce right back with 2 of their own.
2 kills come back in and really settle the nerves again, settle the round. Rops can often get you those, but if it's not continued upon, if it's not spiraling out of control, then generally Team Liquid can tame this. Issue is Acor has been really good in these kind of rounds. See if he can dish out some more damage. Team Liquid know they've got the luxury of time to play with, so they're slowing it down, and they've got a Liege who's made his wrap around from heaven. He's going to get a crucial kill. Now finally up into double figures in kill count. Molotov in the vent is going to prevent the quick rotation up. And Frozen's found an AK. Bimas has been told there is another AK in lobby if you want to come get it. They're going to try and play together. Bimas has turned around and found the head of Fallen, and now Frozen could get a kill on a Stewie, but not to be. Stewie's found it. And Bimas on the wall banks, not too far off, but not connecting that significant amount of damage. And now Spam's starting to come through. They know where Bimas is. He hasn't been able to find a kill just yet, and now going for the fights. No one's giving them. There's no fights to be had right now. Liquid just so disciplined in the 2v1. They don't want to throw this one away. And finally, Bimas will get his kill. He'll get an AK, but the round is won by Team Liquid. And that's the decisive kill there from Elige towards the end of the round that gets them onto the site. And it's good to see Elige having some impact, because he has been a little quiet, and that really does help your point in terms of the fact that it has been mainly Liquid out-calling, out-maneuvering, out-playing mousesports.
Definitely going to give some props to Fallen too, who's top of the board for Team Liquid. We weren't entirely sure what level we would get to see from him throughout this tournament, but it looks like the fact that he's been taken off that IGL role may have helped him a little bit, may have helped him open up his game. It's been good here on Nuke for Team Liquid, and mousesports now have to come through with some rounds, and it's actually a Team Liquid timeout here. 14-8 lead for them, but they want to make sure they get it over the line as soon as possible.
Yeah, letting Adren have a say, you know, a big criticism to Adren when he was in this Liquid roster is not enough timeouts were using one at a point in the most important gun round to try and close this out as quickly as possible.
And if you're mousesports now, all you're thinking about in that timeout is, do Liquid go for the A play again? Do they punish us on that A site one more time? You might start overthinking it here.
Well, they're going to give them the answer quickly with some smokes towards outside. Utility's been used up. The Elige has gone forward, and because of that, Frozen has been able to use the flashbang assist of A-Core to take him down. So, man advantage in play here for Mouse. Stewie's got into vent. Of course he's got into vent, but look who's waiting for him. It's Robs, who was there before him.
mousesports finding some early success with some more initiative taken by Frozen. And then Rob's just getting the right read, but Frozen's still stuck close by. They're not going to clear him. Nice headshot, but he has been traded. Back to a 2v3. This is doable for Liquid.
Oh, good kill from A-Core, though. That might throw a little bit of a spanner into the works. Grim. Now 1 versus 3. He's going to begin to climb his ladder. You could say that is the round here as well, because Bimas is watching for him. But he's missed the timing. He didn't see him. Ships in the night. They've walked on by, and Grim finally spotted. Oh, prevents his team from going down there. Bimas turns back just at the right time, and a sigh of relief as another round for mousesports is added to the tally.
Not sure if that was 4x3 or if he just couldn't see him, but either way, at least Bimas is able to turn around and finally find that kill he was looking for. Another timeout taken by Team Liquid.
Yeah, straight away, 2 in a row. Team Liquid, what if they got cooking up? Do they go back to the A play? That could be interesting. We'll see if Mouse handle it, if that does come through. I think more so at this point, we're wondering what kind of investment Team Liquid can get out. They're going to go for the AWP on Fallen on the T side, and they're going to get that Galil out and 2 players, Naf and Grim. Oh, the money's not looking so hot right now for Liquid, and they're sending a Tech 9 out to Stewie. I feel like a quicker play is needed.
That's what I was about to say. If Stewie's got the Tech 9, we know he likes to play aggressive. We know he likes to make those bold moves at times. Could be a round where you try to go back to that A-bomb site. Let's see if this time mousesports would be ready for it, or if Liquid have something else up their sleeve.
A-Court looking towards the top of Silo. Elige is trying to duel the AWPer with a rifle. A little bit of a dangerous fight there, and Fallen is now posted up into credit card for the repick of the AWP.
I guess with Fallen having that AWP, that is an argument against going for the fast play. See if he can find a pick towards Yard. He's been pretty good at finding some kills so far.
And if he does that, you can still group up and go for the quick explosive play towards the end. A quick play doesn't need to come right at the beginning of a round, right?
Absolutely. Smokes at Yard will be successful and stopping Mouse from having information. Now Liquid go back to ramp. Rops is playing this pretty passively though. Liquid don't have too many nades left, but they could force him away. He's committed to the angle. Rop's lining up 2 before he's traded.
What is that position? There's no way you come around the corner looking there for the rifler. That's nice from Rop. The Frozen's down here as well. He's got one. Quickly traded out by Elige. And now it's Elige and Naf. Naf's on 2 HP right now for this clutch. Let's get a switch out to the AWP. Elige is throwing the bomb on down, and Naf is going to start planting. Elige now covering him off. Good kill down to the double doors, but there's a second player there, and Elige gets away with that one as well. They doubled up towards the double doors, and Team Liquid now on 15.
Elige and Naf in the clutch is not easy to deal with. Oftentimes, Elige will be more of an aggro player, more involved in the early round, but when he gets in those clutch scenarios, he's still so good at figuring out where the opponents can be. He's such a cerebral player, so smart in those spots. Naf gets onto the site. Elige didn't have to brain it too much there. He just heard the door open, knew exactly where he needed to look to keep his teammates safe, and then BMAS just unable to hit the shots.
Yeah, quick reactions as well from Elige. That's his individual skill coming in. Outside execute comes through for Team Liquid, the deeper smokes, and Frozen's going to try and play in and around them. He wants to disrupt this early play, and he might just be able to get that chance. As he comes around the backside, Stewie has found his kill. That's an opening for Team Liquid into what might possibly be the last round here.
When they went for that play previously, they had the flashes ready to help Frozen in some of those fights. This time he's much more alone. It didn't look like anyone was ready to flash for him, so it's a much more risky play that relies on Frozen getting that good timing window. And now Liquid just need to convert this clean 5v4 to steal away Mouse's map pick.
Team Liquid are going to challenge A-Court. AWP at the ready. No utility yet. Finally, a flash goes through, and that's going to force A-Core off the angle. Another flash as well, but finally, he'll get his reward, but he burns away to the Molotov have fallen. And now Team Liquid going down into the B bottom site. Elige is lurking here up on the A side as well, so he could get in behind them in the late round. Stewie's going back up. Dexter's still here on the A side, though.
Elige heard that rotate away. Now he knows the A site should be weaker, and it's just an MP9 solo holding this A site. Now the rotates arrive, though. BMAS is here.
Yeah, Dexter knows it's going to be this A play. Can he get anything? No, the MP9 not able for a kill, and BMAS goes down as well. It's on to Rops, the hero of this team. Often he can be, but in a 1v4 versus Team Liquid, it's not looking so likely. Rops will try his best. He comes back up from secret, peering towards heaven. Stewie peeking out, gets the information as to where Rops is playing from, and now that utility that Team Liquid had left starts to be deployed. They're really keeping him out of the site, preventing him from taking space back in, and now if he goes into that A bomb site, he's confirmed to die. Look how many players are looking at him. Stewie does it. 16-9. Team Liquid take down mousesports on their map pick. It's not looking so good for mousesports. We'll see if they can bounce back. But before that, we've got to break this one down, and we're doing that after the break.